Thank you, Chairman. 911 is a lifeline for every American. Hurricanes, medical emergencies, violent crimes, accidents. At one point or another, every Central Floridian will experience one of these emergencies, unfortunately. Cops and firefighters, EMTs, our heroes are ready to come to the rescue, but only if that call comes through. Unfortunately, we've seen Republicans took away a key funding source for 911 with the Spectrum sale, using proceeds to help fund their big ugly law that was helping billionaire tax breaks. But here we are, trying to get this done finally. And next generation 911 will be critical. A grant program to upgrade legacy communications infrastructure for local 911 systems. The key is redundancy. Cellular, broadband, satellite. When one fails, another picks up the call. We've seen this over and over again in Florida. We launch a lot of those satellites from the Cape, the district right next to mine. When everything else fails, that has been a helpful part of it, although we need to continue to increase speeds. Ms. Manor, how do you think we're doing on, it fills the gap, speeds are starting to improve. How do you think low Earth orbit satellites can help with a disaster recovery during those first couple hours to days where we may struggle, and how is the speed improving?
So thank you for the question. Yes, we're launching many of our satellites from Florida. And one of the things I think that would help is there is a great constraint on launch capability today. So I think you would see more satellites being launched as launch capabilities increased. Our system's somewhat different than what's up today, which is we're starting to launch and we'll have deployed in the next year. We'll be able to provide broadband speeds. We've already tested at 120 megabits, which is comparable to what you get with your cellular system. So with that, you're going to be able to have the ability for first responders to communicate using broadband. So our partner FirstNet, for instance, or other first responders are using our partners' networks, AT&T and Verizon. We'll be able to have broadband communication, so downloading plans of a house if you're fighting a fire, knowing where things are. We're also working with our partners. Our system is capable for the public safety requirements, 911 and emergency alerting. So as that gets integrated into our partners' networks, this will take a little bit of time. It's a brand new technology. You'll have those services available, and I think that will make everything much easier for users as well to get the help they need.
Thank you, Ms. Manor. And we've had a record number of launches, over 100 this year at Cape Canaveral. We see it twice a week from our backyard, so we know we'll be getting there. Ms. Sutton, you know, in Central Florida, we have a very diverse community. We have folks who speak Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian, Creole. You add in 1 million tourists at any given time to Central Florida who could come from around the world. How can we make emergency alerts more accessible to constituents and tourists in Central Florida, especially during a hurricane, who may not speak English as a first language?
Thank you for the question, and you're raising one that's very important and very difficult for local emergency managers to address. We do not have good strategies for translation to other languages. While AI solutions have been proposed, a more reliable strategy is to have in-office personnel who have the ability to do that translation activity. However, it's very limited across the states. I appreciate that Florida has a more robust activity in that area and has supported the efforts within the hurricane area of helping to do translation using AI, but it is a problem that we need more research and more resources to address.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton. And you mentioned if we have translators, professionals to be able to help, that's ideal, but as Captain Vernado, you mentioned if we don't have those, AI may be the best that we can do. What has been your experience in any tests that you may have seen with attempts to use AI to improve different languages for 911?
What we have seen, and I've only seen it in beta tests so far, we're going to be beta testing it here in the near future in our center in Livingston. But there are many ways to leverage AI, to leverage new technologies that are out there to improve the notifications, language translations, also transcriptions of calls that we can actually see the transcription coming across and even translated at that point.
Thank you. My time's expired.